Good morning, everybody. You may or may not be able to see my face because of the brightness from behind me, but that's cool because we got a nice scene over here. And all right, so today we're going to talk about disrespecting your lower functions or learning to respect your lower functions. Now, some of these words may or may not make sense to you, but I will refer to you to other links and other actual people who know about these, who I learned it from, so that you can study it. But a little bit of background is my lower functions are S and F. What does S and F mean? So basically, people who like to look good, people who like to present themselves, people who like to dress properly and, give respect to get respect, people who care about other people are extroverted feelers and sometimes extroverted sensors. Also, introverted sensing could be a trait of these people too. So, you know how like a lot of us, we say introverted people and extroverted people. That label is actually not 100% okay, but we do have a lot of sensory types in this world. I'm not exactly sure about the statistics. Like I said, go to Frank James's channel. He has something about statistics, which was one of the most inspiring channels for me when I started on this. So sensors, there's going to be a lot more sensors than intuitives in a given population at any time, I believe. Feelers and thinkers also, I believe. I think there are more feelers than thinkers, but that is, I think it changes with geography, and then there's like different types of thinking and feeling as well. So I'm gonna do this thing where I call it do. So there's do outward and do inward. Do for them and do for you. There's also see them and see you. So intuition and sensing would be the seeing things, and feeling and thinking would be the doing things. But that doesn't really mean much. All we need to talk about is respecting those lower functions. And as I am an introverted thinker and an extroverted intuitive, I had a little bit of trouble figuring out which one was more prominent than the other one. And it's easy for you to misdiagnose yourself, or, to misunderstand your own problems and consider yourself the wrong type, which is what happened to me. So I thought that I was a TI first and then an NE, but I am an ENTP. So you got to understand my label a little bit so that you understand the S and F. I am an NT, and it's kind of like, so these are some of the pictures from the drawing board that you guys might have noticed. I've started drawing again, and I've been trying to use a little more structure in my drawings since yesterday or the day before, since very recently. And this is because of I'm starting to respect my lower functions, introverted sensing and extroverted feeling, which are my less dominant functions. Now, it's kind of unfair because in this world, we have, I think, more sense-of-feeler people and less intuitive and thinkers. It's not to say that intuitive thinkers are rare. It's just that intuitive thinkers don't feel as social as other people. They tend to notice a lot of the SFs, and they tend to like. So there's like there's like intuitive thinkers, and you know how we usually say there's introverted people and extroverted people. That's not a fair judgment. That's not a fair label, because it's easier to say IPs or IJs or NTs and SFs. So basically, you have a lot of people exchanging with each other, and then you have some people who rather stick to their own bubble and stay away from the society. And although there are many of these bubbles, they all operate almost individually, I would say. So They do not connect with each other unless they're on the internet. So they feel alone, but it's not actually a rare thing. But you could go on to the statistics one with Frank James for that. So, what is an ENTP? I think a really good example of an ENTP would be, wait for it. I don't know if you can see this clearly, but Barney Stinson. Barney Stinson and, of course, Charlie Harper in Two and a Half Men. These characters, they have no regard for other people. They do dress in a certain way. Barney Stinson's always big on his suits, and Charlie Harper has a very unique way of dressing every day. So he does care about what he looks like, but he could never become one of those people who dress and act for others, because he doesn't respect that and he can't see himself becoming that. And this is actually a huge problem. You tend to disrespect people that are good at the things that you're bad at. Apparently, that's like the response is so automatic that you can't control it. Every time I see a well-groomed person, or who is presentable, who takes care of their image, not for themselves but for others, I feel like that is a sacrifice that they're making for the greater population, and that makes me judge them. Now, I understand this. I've been doing this for the last 3 years or something. Now, ever since I took the personality test or whatever in August, I've been getting into it bit by bit. And honestly, you guys should follow Lijo, Lindsay, something. She is really great. She actually was like a guru to me when, I used her as a guru following her channel. She explained everything so clearly. She explained, all right, so I understand that I'm an extroverted intuitive. What is that? It's kind of like they're able to see all these what ifs. They're able to see different things happening at the same time, and they jump back and forth between this and this and this. They explore a lot of ideas. So you're addicted to the journey of ideas, as they say. And okay, so now I get it. All right, so I have that, but then in comparison, I was wondering what other people had. And then, Lindsay was the one who actually taught, explained. Frank James is great, Love Who is great, but, they're entertainers. Lindsay actually sits down and teaches you, because she is an INTJ, which is the same type as Nikola Tesla. And there's the other thing. So people think that there are more introverted people today in today's world than there were in the past, because of computers and mobile phones and newspapers and comic books and video games or whatever it is. But that's not true. Nikola Tesla predates electricity. And he was a visionary about all these mobile phones and stuff, I guess. I don't know much about him, but he's famous. So, people like that have existed before any of this came to be. So it's like, although people think that there are more introverted people today, it's actually not true. And these people are usually the people who do game-changing things. I would say, at least that's how you feel about it as dreamers and stuff. But there are the doers, and then there are the thinkers and all that. So if you're a thinker, you tend to kind of disrespect the doers. And all right, so introverted sensing, I will just explain how that is different from extroverted intuition. extroverted intuition is like a monkey jumping on the branches of a tree, is what they say, exploring things and not so, like, even this video yesterday, I watched a video where they say, like, not everyone wants to jump on the runaway train. So you gotta have a clear end in mind and then start. I've been sticking to topic more than usual, I would say. I don't know, that's up to you to decide. But introverted sensing is kind of like taking a cardboard box. All right, let's talk about extroverted sensing and extroverted feeling and then come to introverted sensing. Extroverted sensing is, as you may have guessed, we have our hands, we have our eyes, we have our skin, mouth, noses. So whatever object you can touch, whatever object you can grab, what is important to you right now in this moment. If you're talking about a cat, if you're talking about a basketball, and this is all stuff I got from Lindsay, that means that you're talking about objects in this realm. If you're talking about apologies and gratitude and things that you can't really draw or touch, then you're thinking about some concept that people have developed up over time, which just means that you're too smart, you're too into your books and not in real life, you know what I mean? So, and extroverted feeling is when you connect with other people. Your goals are all set on the large-scale human population. What can I do for you? How may I respect you and you should respect me in the same way? People connections is FE. And SI, so SE is not something that I have in my stack at all, but I would still say that there are times when you experience that because we are human. Same with thoughts. You are allowed to experience thinking and ideas, even though that's not your full-time career. For me, it's kind of like a full-time career. It's like breathing. All right, so you take a cardboard box. This is SI, introverted sensing, and you put shampoo bottles in it, you put hairbrush in it, you put different objects inside that little space of a cardboard box. Then you have different cardboard box as categories, and you put this stuff in this box and this stuff in this box, which is, it's a really anal trait for a person to have. It's like Monica from Friends. But at the same time, I would say it is an important life skill as well, because if you're going to survive in this world, you need to have some of that. So SI is like my biggest enemy. And FE is something that I could do, but I'm not really sure if I want to give up my TI and become an FE. You could find a balance between the TI and the FE because it's in the middle. I used to think that I was INTP, and now I know I'm ENTP. How do you know this? What is the difference between an IJ, an IP, and EJ? What is that? So the functions that I said were lower on my scale, the ones that we're focusing today, SI and FE. SI and FE is more prominent in EJs, where they would have the do outward function, either thinking outward or feeling outward. Whereas I have the thinking inward, and my type of people, the IPs, would have introverted thinking or feeling inside. INTJs, INFJs, they have extroverted thinking, extroverted feeling. And an EJ would also have extroverted sensory. I think it's really good to have extroverted sensing and extroverted feeling together. It's like, I like that, but I like it so much that I'm scared of it that I can't respect it because it makes me feel small or something. And that is my battle. That is where I want to get. I'm making baby steps, especially with the drawing board and stuff, and organizing things like this. Even the video I've taken more time for this video than was necessary. I was trying to finish it in like 5 or 3 minutes. Maybe I'll redo it, maybe I won't. But yeah, so that sort of thing is. We're going to close in another couple of words. What I wanted to tell you was, how do you know if you're an ENTP or an INTP? So INTPs and ESFJs, EJs and IPs, they have something in common. What is that? All right, so there's two types of people, and for some people, it's more important to talk about who am I, where am I, what are the things that are affecting me, and what have I built. So if you hear about someone talking about their achievements a lot, if you hear about someone talking about their values, I would say, or what defines them, if they're so concerned about defining themselves, that's an IP or an EJ, and they really care about what other people think of them. They want the respect of other people, which in my case is also kind of true. There are times, depending on the people that I'm with and everything, that I would become such a suck up, just I would really want them to like me. But then I am an ENTP because, just like Barney Stinson or Charlie Harper, these people don't give a fuck about what people think about them. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you are, all that they care about is what is controlling you, how much control do you have over things. So yeah, are they manipulative? If they are interested in analyzing their own abilities and influence and control, they might play around with that, and that may come off as manipulative. But what really happens is, I think they could become great leaders if they, not great leaders, what I mean is efficient leaders if they wanted to. If they really tried and got those things together, I think some of them, because they understand people and their needs, so although they're not going to be nice to them, or they know what they want, and they really don't like timetables and structures, and they call the hair of the NTPs messy. Like, messy hair is one of the things that they do because they're so reluctant to conform, and that sort of thing. So the opposite of that, because if we have like something like a seesaw, something like, so basically there's like different lines that you have, different axes you have, and you're going to have thinking and feeling on two different ends, and it's going to go like that, and you're going to have intuition and sensing going like this. If you could balance all that out into a nice good level, so that whenever you want to do whatever, you can pick this one or this one or this one, that sort of thing. Yeah, the balances, the scales. When you understand how to manipulate your balances and scales, it makes you do things more efficiently. It makes you things better. So yeah, so my battle is, I'm an extroverted thinker, intuitive, and I'm going towards SI, and I'm gonna need a little bit of FE to do presentations and all that as well. So this is my personal journey, and I hope it has helped you understand what your personal journey should be like to become a person that you don't want to be, or to become a person that you want to be that you don't respect as much. That happens. We are likely to pull ourselves back from becoming the people that we want to do, the people that we want to be. But yeah, it's kind of like building characters as well. So interesting thing about Barney Stinson is he does this playbook, and he challenges himself. So he has his own clothes, and yeah, I'm gonna have to redo this, guys. I'm sorry.